Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
7 things you don't really need to know, but probably should. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Sunday 7.
Thank you, Revens, in for Jamie East this weekend. On today's episode of the award-winning Sunday 7, we get up to speed on the AI bubble, get a warning on fake weight loss jabs, and hear about a new UFO documentary. Plus, Will Guyatt, the Smart 7's resident tech guru, explains what's going on with chatbots and why Apple TV's rebrand is a bit of a damp squib. If you're enjoying our episodes, please do like and follow us wherever you get your podcast. We're here 7 days a week at 7 a.m. with the 7 biggest stories on the Smart 7 in association with Metro. Before we get started, though, it was on this day in 1872 that miners in New South Wales, Australia, discovered one of the world's largest ever gold nugget. It was a full-on slab of gold weighing over 82 kilograms and was discovered at a site known as Bald Hill. With gold prices at all-time highs at the moment, that slab will be worth an extraordinary £10 million. We've seen many trends come and go in tech, launched with great fanfare and then quietly shelved for months later. Remember NFTs, the non-fungible token, which saw people paying millions for pictures of cartoon apes in a frenzy of hype that ultimately saw most of them proving to be utterly worthless. And there's things like Google Glass or Meta's VR headsets that promised all kinds of magical worlds but ended up gathering dust in a cupboard. There's good reason to think that the current AI boom may well end up the same way, as increasingly questions are being asked about what the long-term benefits of AI might be. Nvidia has been the most prominent beneficiary of the AI boom, as tech giants have rushed to buy its powerful processors to keep up in an AI arms race, and the company's valuation has soared from just over $100 billion to over $500 billion in just 12 months. Jerry Kaplan is an author, entrepreneur and futurist, and he spoke to Channel 4 News this week about the prospect of an AI bubble and whether or not that means an AI crash will follow.
Is there going to be an AI bubble burst? Yes or no?
Well, since I was just warned not to swear on camera, I'll just say F yes.
Okay. Elaborate.
There's no question that we're in a significant bubble. This will be my 4th major bubble. And they all have exactly the same structure. I see all the same signs today that I've experienced in the previous 4 bubbles.
Kaplan says that the current AI bubble in terms of valuations and impact on the stock market is significantly bigger than what was known as the dot-com bubble, which started in the 1990s and burst in mid-2000. That saw the stock market lose 78% of its value over the next 12 months, and there are warnings that the AI bubble is even bigger. Pat Gelsinger is a former CEO of chip giant Intel, and he was asked about the bubble on CNBC, but he says the growth in valuation is powered by the potential real-world impact AI could have.
Are we in an AI bubble? Of course, right? We were in that bubble. Of course we are. I mean, we're hyped, we're accelerating, we're putting enormous leverage into the system. That said, I don't see it ending for several years. I do think we have an industry shift to AI, as Jensen has talked about, and I agree with this, that businesses are yet to really start materially benefiting from it.
The gamble for big tech is that the continued investment in AI and processing power will lead to a breakthrough and some kind of artificial superintelligence, which could have a profound impact on the tasks it's able to do. In the meantime, investors continue to pile into tech stocks, despite warning signs that chatbots and the algorithms that power them are far from perfect. In fact, this week saw the British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy warn that more and more people are turning to chatbots for help and support with mental health difficulties, something that alarms therapists. Amanda MacDonald is a registered psychotherapist and counsellor, and she spoke to ITV News this week.
We know that there's something about that relationship between two people that can't be replicated with a device, as well as always being alert to really clear indications that somebody might be thinking about taking their own life. There's always really subtle things that I would notice.
As tech giants start to worry about whether or not AI may turn out to be in a bubble, there's been plenty of other AI and tech news this week. So it's time once again to catch up with the Smart 7's tech guru, Will Guyatt, to find out what is going down in the world of tech. Will, there's no escaping AI this week, but it's busy little chatbots that have been causing mischief, haven't they? This week saw new concerns about the latest Chat GPT upgrade, right?
The service upgraded to its GPT-5 system in August and billed it as advancing the frontiers of AI safety. But when researchers fed the same set of test questions into the latest model, it gave harmful responses 63 times, compared to 52 to its predecessor, GPT-4. This crucial work is carried out by the Centre for Countering Digital Hate, and one such example they asked ChatGPT was to write a fictionalised suicide note for parents. GPT-4 would simply refuse to comply and suggest the user got help, but GPT-5 wrote it. And the latest version also listed 6 methods of self-harm, while GPT-4 refused and once again signposted help.
Wasn't ChatGPT supposed to be improving protections for users?
Absolutely. OpenAI previously said it would respond to similar work from the Centre for Countering Digital Hate by offering stronger guardrails around sensitive content and risky behaviours, promising better protection for users under 18, parental controls and an age verification system, all of which now sounds like a total load of baloney when you realise it's kicking out more harmful responses than ever before.
There's another change coming too, which sounds like ChatGPT is getting a bit more like X.
Indeed. From December, you're going to be able to generate porn, as it seemingly lowers itself to compete with Musk's chatbot girlfriends currently being developed by XAI. A press release proudly tells us that verified adults will be able to access erotica just in time for Christmas. As is the way with California tech giants, the detail is currently light, but apparently the changes will allow OpenAI to treat adult users like adults. Despite the story we've just covered about the rise of harmful content on the platform, OpenAI boss Sam Altman did his best Donald Trump by suggesting porn on ChatGPT was now possible after the service was able to, and I quote, mitigate serious mental health issues, and they've clearly not been mitigated at all. Don't worry though, another press statement followed Altman's chat and assured us all that ChatGPT wouldn't be offering porn deepfakes or even create AI porn, which, in my definition, is exactly what AI erotica is. And when challenged, this press person told the US national broadcaster NPR, it depends on your definition of porn. The world has literally gone mad.
Instagram seems to be the sensible tech giant in the room these days. What are they rolling out for teen users?
Slowly but surely, Instagram does indeed seem to be focused on some sensible suggestions for making its platform safer. It's not perfect, but it is certainly trying to do something. Insta is now ensuring that teen accounts are guided by PG movie ratings by default, meaning that the content you see will be similar to what you get in a PG movie. Those who the company identifies as under 18 will be placed into this PG setting and not able to opt out without parental permission. And Meta has also said that in response to parental demand, it's going to release an even more restricted experience that parents can enable if they're worried about their teens accessing unsuitable content. And sagely, an Instagram spokesperson said, "We recognise no system is perfect and we're committed to improving it over time." Who would have thought that Zuck would become the sensible guy in the room?
And between all these sites and bots and whatnots, there's been a new guidance too on how to come up with a better password. What are the National Institute of Standards and Technology saying?
Without sounding like a 70s British sitcom, the advice for your password in 2025 from the Masters is aim for length, not complexity. The one uppercase, one number and one symbol rule also seems to be gone, suggesting you should have your own unique and memorable password like Jamie_Easts_leg_day_Trowbridge. And in music to ears of many like myself, changing your password every 90 days really isn't helping to improve security. And if all of this isn't enough, your password should now be at least 8 characters long, and the lowest possible maximum length should be 64 characters. They're actually encouraging people to go even higher.
64 characters seems impossible, Will. I'm struggling with 8.
Absolutely, it's bonkers, but I'll never forget the look I had to give my parents after they purchased a book at the local WH Smith or Tom Jones or whatever it's called these days, which was labelled Internet Passwords. Some people will never learn.
And finally, there's nothing big tech loves more than a rebrand. So what have Apple revealed as the exciting new name for Apple TV Plus?
Imagine my lack of surprise this week when Apple's streaming service dropped the plus from its name to become officially known as Apple TV. Now, Apple have been a player on the streaming scene for 6 years, but it's taken them a while to build their reputation for really high-end shows. And today they're a bit like HBO for the streaming age, if HBO didn't already have its own streaming service called HBO Max in loads of countries. We've had shows like Severance and Ted Lasso from Apple, and new additions like The Last Frontier and Slow Horses are increasingly buzzworthy too. So Apple have said that dropping the plus part is all a bit of its new vibrant new identity, and they said that earlier this week, but it seems to be hinged around the launch of the literal Brad Pitt vehicle F1 that was funded by Apple and finally debuts on the streaming service in the next couple of weeks. So this Christmas you're going to be able to watch F1 on Apple TV on your Apple TV box. Confused? I know I am.
Still to come on the Sunday 7 in association with Metro, warnings over weight loss jabs and potential good news on climate change. Weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy and Mounjaro have exploded in popularity over the last couple of years. The drugs, which are technically known as semaglutides, were originally developed for treatment of diabetes and have been available on the NHS since 2023, and they've proven to be dramatically effective at treatment of patients with obesity. They work by suppressing appetite and are typically self-administered by injection once per week. However, the popularity of the treatment has seen shortages of the drug and a sharp rise in prices, particularly for the drug Mounjaro. It's not just the existing drugs either. There's a new version called retatrutide, which hasn't even been cleared by medical authorities yet, and it's now in high demand after it became a viral trend on TikTok. The heightened demand has seen a flood of fake medication for sale online, but it's highly dangerous and there's no way to know what's in the shots. Dr. Luke Turnock is a senior lecturer in criminology at the University of Lincoln School of Social and Political Sciences.
Often they're initially imported from China, is the main producer. Other countries like India and Russia, there is some production. If you're buying in sufficient bulk, it can be as cheap as £1.50. Seeing that Reta was the most prominent drug did actually shock me more than anything, because I was expecting it to be one of the drugs that has been approved as a prescription. So many people who perhaps don't have experience injecting drugs and who aren't used to using grey market or illicit medicines are buying this experimental drug.
Dr. Beccy Cooper is a Labour MP and she's also the Vice Chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Committee on Obesity. She says the issue is that with the drugs being sold directly to consumers online, it's very difficult for authorities to stop.
The Medical Health and Regulatory Authority, they do have a criminal unit, so they do try very hard to crack down on unregulated medication across social media and, in physical environments. It is very hard because, as you've discovered, it is ubiquitous. It is everywhere, and so to try and crack down on everything is a bit like whack-a-mole, really. You shut one down, another pops up the next day.
Under Donald Trump, the United States have taken giant steps backwards on climate change, with Trump pushing regulators to scrap a key scientific decision on America's position on global warming. He's also obsessed with windmills and has actively blocked and stopped funding for wind farms across the US. He's also blocked huge solar developments, setting America back in terms of green and renewable energy. But the US is dramatically out of step with the rest of the world, and there's actually some optimism growing about the potential for renewable energy resources. At the recent UN Assembly, China announced that it would move to tackle emissions too, in a dramatic shift which could make a real difference. So, are we at a tipping point on fossil fuels? Gaia Vince is an award-winning environmental journalist and former editor of Nature and New Scientist, and she says that the message on fossil fuels is slowly getting through.
You don't have to be convinced or even care at all about climate change and green issues to know that it makes a hell of a lot of financial security sense, economic sense to invest in renewables rather than, a dead. We are absolutely heading for the post-combustion power system. That is the trajectory we are on. It is undeniable that we will get there because it makes financial sense, it makes security sense. We're very near a tipping point in this, if China continues its kind of exponential rollout of solar batteries, etc., and that price drop. Within about 5 years, that will be a global tipping point.
Still to come on the Sunday 7 in association with Metro, a new way to tackle shoplifters, and a startling new documentary is about to drop.
Right after this.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Welcome back.
The current cost of living crisis, which seems to have been going on for an eternity, has seen a continual rise in shoplifting. Estimates suggest that there's been at least a 20% rise in incidents across England and Wales across the last 12 months alone. There's also evidence that there's a small cohort of persistent offenders who seem undeterred by arrests. But now Sussex Police are rolling out a new pilot scheme which will see repeat offenders tagged and banned from high footfall shopping areas. Katy Bourne is the Police and Crime Commissioner for Sussex, and she says it's an innovative way to tackle a problem that is driving retailers mad.
They will be monitored all the time they're wearing the tag. That's part of the order and that's passed through the judge. But what will happen is they will be given a restricted area or zone. So it'll either be you can't go into a particular shop or you can't go into a high street. If they then go into that area, the tag will go off and the police will deal with it.
84% of shoplifting cases go unsolved according to police statistics, and if this pilot scheme proves to be effective, it could be rolled out nationwide. Detective Inspector Martin Hammer from Sussex Police says there's a lot of interest in the trial's results.
Definitely recently we've had a number of forces interested in, because it's the first time in the country that we've had a tag for a criminal behaviour order just for shop theft, so it's useful to share that information with other forces.
Keany Knowles was at one time known as Birmingham's most prolific shoplifter, and she says it's important to remember that those who shoplift do in some cases because of addiction and other issues, so they also need support.
I'm not going to say that this is a good idea as in just this bit, because obviously if I've got this on and I'm excluded from this area, like you said, I'll go somewhere else.
Somewhere else, yeah.
And as they build up on your file, you can't go here and then we'll add this place and this place. What is a worry then is, OK, so they can't go to them shops. Does that mean you then burgle someone's house or you commit a robbery? Worse, does it mean that the women end up selling themselves, become the next rape and murder statistics?
One of the longest running conspiracy theories in the US government in particular has been covering up the existence of extraterrestrials for decades. There have been plenty of movies and TV shows that explored the notion of Area 51, little grey men and flying saucers, and in recent years the Pentagon has been a little bit more forthcoming about whether or not there is intelligent life out there. President Barack Obama famously said there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. Under President Joe Biden, NASA formally opened a program to study what are now called unidentified aerial phenomena and began studying reports in detail, conceding that there are over 100 incidents that they just can't explain. Now there's a new documentary on the way called The Age of Disclosure, which stitches together interviews from over 30 US government officials, including former US Department of Defense staffer Lou Elizondo, to paint a picture of what's really going on in our skies. It's due to drop on Prime Video in November.
We've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours.
These are otherworldly things that are performing maneuvers that haven't been seen.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
This is so secret. There have been very few people in our entire government that have been allowed or provided access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis. But that begins to ramp out of control.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees.
While we're all familiar with the great white shark and its looming jaws, the actual risk of a shark attack are vanishingly small, particularly if you never get in the sea. Only joking, but records show that annually there are only about 60 attacks per year, with only 10% of those leading to fatalities. However, there are locations where the risks are substantially higher, including Australia, which is home to a significant great white shark population. So it's no surprise that researchers at Australia's Flinders University have been busy working on a shark-resistant wetsuit. The intention is that the new suit would provide much better protection for divers and reduce the risk of fatality, even if they are attacked by jaws. Lead researcher Charlie Houvenaers says the suits are made with reinforced neoprene and can include materials like Kevlar, but that even he was amazed at how effective they were.
I was genuinely surprised when we compared the new material to standard neoprene at how much that new material was eliminating all of these extensive, severe or critical damage. There's still going to be some small punctures and some wounds that would result from a shark bite. But for example, instead of maybe having 200 stitches, you might only end up with maybe 10 or 20 stitches. So it will reduce the extent of that injury. But in the case of a severe shark bite, it will also reduce blood loss, which will then give more time to emergency services to get to the victim.
This has been the Sunday 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. with the regular Smart 7. Have a great rest of your weekend. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.